We've all seen the online videos where people balance their own wheels at home with one of those little bubble balancers that you can get for about 60 bucks on Amazon. But the question is, do these home tire balancers offer real savings? I mean, can you really balance your tires at home? Or is balancing tires kind of like dental work? It's something that you should leave to the professionals. Well, we'll answer that question today in this episode of Beginner's Guide to Tires, sponsored by Salem Tire. Why Salem? Because you don't always have to spend a lot to get a decent tire. So the question is, do you have to spend money at a garage to balance your tires, or can you save yourself a bundle by balancing your tires at home all by yourself? That's the question I asked Ross Yacobelis. He's the technical sales and training manager for Hunter Engineering, and that's the company that actually designs, engineers, and builds those big tire balancers that professional garages use. As you listen to our conversation, I think you'll find that Ross offers a very balanced view. In fact, he explains when a bubble balancer could make sense for you and when you're going to need professional help.
I came from the motorcycle industry. We had great success back in the day with bubble balancers, but as we progressed through the days and tires got wider and wider and wider and wider, we have these vibrations introduced in the assembly, in the wheel assembly, which is more of a dynamic or coupled type of vibration. So we can have a vibration on this plane, a vibration on this plane, and all these different planes when we're measuring the width of the wheel assembly with the tire on, and a bubble bouncer can't catch that vibration, because now instead of the tire going down the road and actually starting to hop up and down like this, which a typical vibration will cause, it will start to do this harmonic type of vibration where it has this twisting motion. And that's where a bubble bouncer will let people down.
Okay, so hold on. So just so I'm 100% clear on this. In some cases, a bubble balancer will work because when we're slicing up the tire and we're looking at the tire from the side, if it's out of balance on the top near the rim and you just add a weight there, then you're fine. But if it's somewhere else on the depth of the tire, that's when it's a problem. So in other words, sometimes a bubble balancer will work. In other cases, it won't.
It's a good way to look at it. I mean, if your balance is on a single plane, so when we're doing dynamic and coupled, if it was a static imbalance, it would only be going up and down, and there is no other plane that has an imbalance. That would be considered a static imbalance, and it's less sensitive to where you place the weight. So in that particular case, a lot of the bubble balancers actually will give you a decent balance.
So is there any application where a bubble balancer makes sense? Like if you drive a certain car, you have a certain tire size or wheel size that you can get away with using a bubble balancer?
In the automotive world, in the car world, I would say the answer is it's not a great solution, because there is no really narrow cars on the road today. Even if we look at, some of these Mini Coopers, they're running some pretty wide, really cool tires on those vehicles. In the motorcycle world, I know it's currently still being looked at and used at some locations, and because we do have these extremely narrow assemblies, and there isn't a lot of place to put that weight. It's measuring single plane type of static type of balance, or we call that static balancing, where we're looking at just a single plane. And if you took a wheel and you sliced it in the width of the whole assembly, we call those planes, measuring planes of vibrations. So we can pinpoint exactly where it is on what plane. And a bubble balancer, you don't know where to put it. You're going to put it, in the spot that's going to be the lightest, but we don't know which of those lines or those slices of that wheel to put it. So you could actually be making the balance worse, trying to make it better.
Okay, so in other words, because it's each slice of the width of a tire, each slice of the width of a tire is a plane, when you measure or when you balance the wheel on like a modern balancer, you know where to put that weight. Is that what you're saying? Like you'll put the weight.
Exactly, precisely. So if the tire and wheel assembly have a vibration related to that coupled or dynamic type of vibration, we will put it exactly in the right spot where that vibration is basically coming from. But when we start When we do a bubble balancer, we don't know. Now, a bubble balancer will work really, really well if we just had a static single plane type of vibration, because sometimes you can put the weight anywhere, but we don't. You wouldn't know that because you're not measuring it.
Okay, so when we look at the YouTube videos where people are saying like balance your videos with the little balance your videos, balance your wheel assembly with this bubble balance. Some people are having success, but if it's a more complex imbalance issue, it's just not going to work. Is that the bottom line?
100% correct. 100% correct.
And you as a consumer, you don't know what you have because you can't just look at your tire and your wheel assembly and go, oh, this is going to be an easy one to balance, or oh, this is going to need weights on different parts. You don't know just by looking at it because you just can't. Am I correct?
You're correct. You would know. I mean, you could, some of the real experienced technicians out there would put the bare rim on and they could see what the rim looks like with no tire on it, or the wheel assembly without the wheel without the tire on it, not the rim. And they could put it on and they could check with the bubble balancer. Then they could add the tire and they could see where that imbalance is. It might help understand exactly what's going on, but you'll never know what plane it's on. It won't. You just don't know. There's no way of measuring that with a bubble balancer.
Interesting. That's fascinating. Anything else our viewers should know about investing in a bubble balancer before they go ahead and do it?
And I'm not here to talk bad about, I'm just trying to explain the technology behind it. If again, low speed type of applications and non-highway type of vehicles, I'm sure a lot of people have had great success. And look at motorcycles in the real world; they're traveling at high rate of speed, but those narrow assemblies, that helps you understand a little bit better. That's really what they're trying to address.
Okay, so let's sum up what we learned. Bubble balancers can work if you have a simple balance issue on a single plane. However, if you have a more complex balance issue on a number of planes, then a bubble balancer just won't do. It's just not up to the job. The problem is there's no way to tell which balance issue you have just by looking at your tire. So you can do your best with a bubble balancer at home and hopefully save a little bit of money. But if that's not good enough, then you might end up in a garage after all is said and done if you're dealing with a more complex balance issue. Now, if the reason why you're thinking of balancing your own wheels at home is simply because you're on a tight budget, and that's understandable, then you're probably also looking for a more affordable set of tires that can fit within that budget. And that brings us back to the sponsor of this video, Salem Tire. If you're on a budget, but you still want a decent tire, take a closer look at what Salem has to offer. Why Salem? Because you don't always have to spend a lot to get a decent tire. Now, if you had a professional balance your tires and you're still feeling a vibration, then you'll want to watch this video here featuring Ross Jacobellis again. He'll explain why that might be the case. And as always, thanks for watching.